Hi, everybody. Today we're going to take some notes over Chapter 4, Section 1, which is entitled Trading States and Kingdoms. Um, Now, last year in the sixth grade, you probably learned about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt is an amazing civilization. It lasted for a long time. That makes it very important. Today we're going to be learning about some other really important African kingdoms that you might not be as familiar with. In order to understand how these kingdoms come about, we need to know about the gold salt trade. So we're going to spend a little time learning about this important process. Camel caravans, we've mentioned this back in Chapter 3, Section 2. Camel caravans, like the one in this picture, have crisscrossed the Sahara Desert for centuries. For hundreds of years, they've been traveling across the desert. Now, here's the thing about the desert. It's dangerous. Traveling across the desert can be extremely perilous. Why death from a lack of water or from a blinding sandstorm can be a very real threat. In addition, there's all kinds of animals that live out in the desert that are very dangerous. Additionally, just exposure to the heat and sun can cause you some great physical problems, including death. So traveling across the desert is a very risky proposition. Why then did these camel caravans risk death to cross the desert? Why do people often do stupid things? Probably to get rich, to make some money. That's why people do dangerous things. They think they're going to make some money. And that's exactly what was going on here. These traders with these camel caravans are trying to get rich trading salt for gold. Now, this probably sounds ridiculous to you. Why would you trade gold, which is valuable, for salt, which is cheap and expensive? It's plentiful. Well, it depends on some factors here. If you've got a lot of gold, you might understand that gold is valuable, but you've got a lot of it. You've got gold that you can spend. If you don't have salt, but you really need salt, suddenly that salt could become as valuable as gold. Over here in West Africa, let's see. Yeah, right in this area right here. The kingdoms of West Africa have lots of gold, which is awesome, but they lack salt, which is unfortunate because you need a certain amount of salt to survive. Over in the Sahara Desert, they have lots of salt, but no gold. Do we see where this is going? Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to trade that salt for gold. They have so much salt, I'm getting ahead of myself. They have so much salt that in Gaza, the workers are making their homes out of salt. Now, these kingdoms of West Africa then are going to be willing to trade that gold that they have a lot of for that salt that they need. Now, all we need, we've determined that there's a need. We've determined a source for those things that we'd like to trade. Now we just need somebody to do the trading. And that group of people would be the Berbers. Now, the Berbers are fantastic traders. They live in North Africa, and they figured out that there was this possibility for trade. And so they started traveling across the desert. They would pick up a load of salt from Gaza or one of the other salt mines, and then they would travel on to West Africa so they could trade that salt for gold. They would then return to the salt mines, buy some more salt, take it back down to West Africa, trade that for some gold. Okay, they would repeat that process. Now, it is this gold salt trade then that is going to lead to the rise of strong kingdoms in West Africa. We're going to have a lot of very powerful kingdoms right in this part of West Africa that I'm circling with my cursor. Now, in this part of West Africa, they don't have salt and they don't have gold, but they are going to become very wealthy because of the gold salt trade. It works like this. You don't have anything to write on this slide. Okay. But the kingdoms of West Africa made good trading partners. Okay, they each had something that the other wanted. You know that the North had salt, in the South they had gold, and Ghana is the first powerful kingdom that we're going to learn about. Ghana is in the middle. Ghana is the middleman. Ghana is handling the trades. Now, the trades were even, an ounce for an ounce. Okay, an ounce of gold would be traded for an ounce of salt. A pound of salt would net you a pound of gold. Now, Ghana doesn't have the salt or the gold, but they're handling the trades, and they get paid a tribute to handle that trade. You can think of that tribute as a tax or as a toll. Okay, you can think of it as a tax or a toll. Now, if you get some bright idea and think that you're going to load a suitcase full of Morton salt and fly over to West Africa and trade it for 50 pounds of gold, don't. Okay, this trade was true in the past. It is not true today. And that enormous 100-pound block of salt that you could trade for a block of gold or 100 pounds of gold, that salt is only worth $16 now. All right. Well, if we've got a good understanding of the gold salt trade, we can move on now to the Empire of Ghana. The Empire of Ghana is the first powerful empire in West Africa. You can see the area where Ghana develops. Ghana was founded about 500 AD by a group of people called the Soninka people. Okay, they are the ones who are founding this kingdom. Now, the leader of the Soninka people, when we have a group of people, they have a leader. Sometimes we call that leader an emperor or a king or a khan. In the case of the Soninka people, their ruler was called the war chief. And in their language, that is Ghana. The leader of the Soninka was called Ghana, which means war chief. The capital city of Ghana was Kumbi-Sala. Okay, this was the capital where the war chief would rule from. Now, again, Ghana is going to become very wealthy and powerful by controlling the gold salt trade and taxing the camel caravans that travel through their kingdom. So, our Berber traders are going to travel into the Sahara. They're going to pick up a load of salt, and they're going to continue down to Ghana. When they get to Ghana, they will have to pay a tax or a toll. They will continue on through Ghana and down to our West African kingdom where they would make their trade. They would then turn around with their load of gold and they would travel back through Ghana where they would have to pay a tax again. So these guys are getting taxed coming and going. Now, some of you might think, well, why not pick up a load of salt and then go around Ghana to make our trade? We can avoid paying our taxes by doing that. And that's true. But there were reasons why people didn't do this or rarely did that. Number one, the shortest distance between two places is a straight line. So the straight shot takes you through Ghana. If you curve around Ghana, that's going to add a lot of time to your trip. So your trip's just going to be longer. That also increases the amount of risk that you can experience. Remember, traveling across this desert is very risky. It's dangerous. Maybe our journey through Ghana takes us 30 days. Maybe trying to go around Ghana takes us 50 days. So, the shorter amount of time is going to be going through Ghana. It's also safer going through Ghana. The rulers of Ghana are going to make sure that it's very easy and safe for camel caravans to travel through their kingdom. They want to make sure it's safe because they want these camel caravans to travel and pay them some taxes. So they make sure that travel is very safe for these camel caravans. If our camel caravan tries to go around Ghana, it's not nearly as safe. And it was entirely likely that our camel caravan would get robbed by bandits and, everybody would be killed and the gold would be hijacked. So the safest, shortest thing to do was to pay your taxes and go through Ghana. Everybody is still making plenty of money. Yes, they are paying taxes. Everybody is still making plenty of money. Now, in addition, to gold and salt. Those are the two very common things that they're trading, but they're trading other things as well. For example, in West Africa, they have a lot of gold, sure, but they also have hardwood lumber. And that would be prized by the people of North Africa who don't have a lot of lumber. Another thing that would be very popular would be cola nuts. West Africa has the cola tree, and the cola nuts come from this cola tree. Now, cola nuts are a natural stimulant. When you chew on this cola nut, when you consume it, it releases caffeine, a stimulant. Okay, eating one of these cola nuts is like drinking a cup of coffee, and so that would be, desirable to these people of North Africa. They have a little pick me up there. If you think about some of your beverages that you enjoy, Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola, Royal Crown Cola, are we making that connection there? The caffeine in those beverages comes from the cola nut. Okay, the cola nut. Now, in exchange for gold and hardwood and cola nuts, the people of North Africa are trading salt, sure. They're also trading cloth. The Berbers were famous weavers, so they would make cloth and trade it with the people of West Africa. They also raised these very famous Arabian horses that would have been prized by the people of West Africa. Ghana is a very powerful kingdom for 500 years, almost 600 years. But in 1076 AD, a group of Berbers known as the Almoravids capture Kumbi Salah and defeat Ghana. Okay, they defeat the kingdom of Ghana. A new kingdom will rise in its place. Okay, and that kingdom is the Empire of Mali. Okay, the Empire of Mali. I'll give you just a couple quick things about Mali and then we'll stop. The Empire of Mali was founded by the Mandingo people, or sometimes they're called the Mandinka people. At one time, the Mandingos used to be ruled by the Soninka, but now they have their own kingdom, okay, the Empire of Mali. And you can see on this map that Mali is actually much larger than Ghana. Okay, Ghana would have been about in this area right here. Mali is much bigger. It's much larger. Mali is going to make money the same way by taxing those camel caravans that are traveling back and forth across the country. All right, I think we're going to stop at this point. This is going to get you to where you need to be. And then we will pick back up with our notes later. I hope you guys have a great day. Please make sure that you're filling in all of these blanks in your FIB note packet.